guys. So today is the third podcast. So we're doing it with Erik and Abdul again. Yeah. So let's just dive right into it. Alright, guys. So let's talk about masculinity in young men these days. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on masculinity and young men specifically.
Yeah, young men specifically. What do you see that these days, and how does it? I don't know. What are your thoughts on them? Do you think that's good or is it bad?
I think at a certain point, up till a couple of years ago, it was kind of trending downwards and it's kind of seen as toxic. But I feel like the opposite effect has happened now, where younger guys are also realizing it's fine to be you should try to strive to be strong and push yourself at a high level, and have a certain level of values that you want to stick to, even if other people are telling you you should be a different way or you should not act how you should be acting. I feel like that was the case a couple years ago, and then until recently in the past year or so, and guys have been on the opposite end of saying we're gonna shoot for certain values that we feel are right for guys to have, and it doesn't mean it's toxic.
So you think it's the alpha male and the sigma male stuff is kind of okay, or is that a positive trend, or is that a negative trend? I think that's the opposite
end they expect. I think that's a reaction from the initial reaction. Gotcha. So I think it's the initial part was the total opposite of masculinity, and now guys not all guys, but certain guys are going too far because it's too far left, not politically speaking, but on both sides of that spectrum. So trying to find a way you can meet it in the middle is kind of the goal. I don't know, Abdul, what do you think?
That's good. I would say, in my opinion, that masculinity recently, there's a fine line, I would say, that I don't know if a lot of young men are reaching this, but I feel the thing you were talking about where we've kind of done the opposite now. I feel for masculinity, there's a healthy middle ground, right? Where you don't want to be you were saying the alpha, sigma. It's not that. Yeah. It's just there are core values, where you can be masculine, but then I feel a big stigma, right, is oh, men don't cry, real men don't cry. They don't show emotion. They bottle it all up, which I feel a lot of men are doing better with that nowadays, where we don't have this stigma of you have to be strong all the time. You can't show emotion.
Right. I think therapy has helped a lot with that. Trying to normalize therapy. Therapy is a good thing. Even if you are even if you aren't super depressed or anxiety, you have a lot of anxiety. Even considering that and trying to reach out to a therapist that helps a lot. Sorry, kind of.
No, you're good. No, I agree with that. I've heard from a lot of people, people I know personally, and then even on a parasocial level, I would say, where I don't know them personally, but especially a lot of young men in their 20s and 30s, they'll just casually say oh yeah, I was talking with my therapist today. I'm oh, you're seeing a therapist, and it's not even a big deal anymore.
Yeah,
which is good.
Which is a good thing.
It's something that everyone if you need it, it's fine. It shouldn't have to be this thing we demonize people for. Oh, you go to therapy, something wrong with you. It's not like that.
So you think the mental health aspect of masculinity is is in an upward trend these days, and it's a good thing for people to be considering mental health and looking into that.
Yeah, because I feel masculinity is a very fine line. If you start to bottle it up, then that's when you have issues like toxic masculinity. I feel that is born from building it all up and having this these concepts in your head of this is what being a man is and you don't have a proper outlet of your emotions and how you should feel, right?
So let me ask you both of these this question. What do you guys think is the definition of toxic masculinity to both of you, to you and you? What do you think, in your opinion, is the definition of that?
That's a good question.
What do you think? Because I'm trying to think through my thought process behind that.
I honestly, toxic masculinity to me is I don't know. I'm still trying to find a formal definition of that.
I think it's a phrase that people throw around a lot, but it's hard to define it specifically.
People generalize it quite a bit.
Because it's hard because it also kind of depends on the situation. Certain times you want to push yourself and not get too emotional in certain situations just because you have to, and it's not like some people would call it toxic masculinity, some people wouldn't.
Right.
But then there's the opposite end of the spectrum where it's not helping you, and you bottling up your emotions or being a certain way is not helping you overall in terms of where you're going or getting to that next goal or your purpose or whatever it may be. So that could be toxic in the sense that you're hurting yourself.
Yeah. No, I like
in a weird way.
Building off
in a
of
different
that,
way, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the toxic masculinity comes from, like, a standard you hold for yourself where it's like, oh, I'm not allowed to, like, fail. I'm not allowed to, like give up. Like, I have to be perfect all the time. And then it starts to affect the people around you.
Yeah.
Because you're, like, constantly mad at yourself. You're like, I'm not being as masculine as I can be. I'm not being, like, as good as my potential. But, like, that's the thing. Men especially, they have to realize, like, it's okay to fail. It's okay not to do everything on your first try.
Agreed.
Like, you learn a lot from failing and having to do things over and over again. And that's okay. That's a part of life. So I think that's where toxic masculinity can come. Because especially when it starts to affect other people in the world, you project your own, like, insecurities onto them. And then everyone gets affected, and it's not good for anyone. So,
what do you think, going off of both of our POVs, I guess?
Yeah, I think it is very misconstrued by the general populace. It gets, like, just thrown out, like you were saying, like, just randomly. If a guy is just trying to be, like, someone, like, trying to fit his role as, like, in the family, let's say, or, like, in a relationship. And if the girl is, like, or, like, the family members or, like, or anyone that sees that action starts thinking, oh, maybe he's doing too much, or, like, they don't find it, like, pleasing to them, then, like, they just throw that term out. So, like, let's say, like, he's trying to help with the groceries, like, trying to pick up the groceries or something. Maybe someone might find it, like, be, like, offensive and stuff, and they're like, oh, what is it? You shouldn't do that. Like, and then they might be like, stop trying to be like that, you know? Like, stop trying to, like, help me. I can do my own things. Stop trying to, like, this is, like, I don't know, like, this might be, like, misconstrued as that, like, toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking of when I think of as toxic masculinity, but I don't know. I think it's a very generalized term, and should not be used often.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys see something like that happen in your families, like your dads or, like, your brothers, or does that happen to you, like, in your families?
Not so much. I mean, personally, like, maybe it's just because my own family, and, like, I view it differently, obviously, than I can view, like, an outside, like, presence, right? But I've never, like, really, like, thought about, like, masculinity and, like, femininity in, like, my family. Like, my dad is, like, my dad. My mom is my mom. I've never, like, thought of them taking, like, this role and that role. And again, this comes into just because they're my parents, and, like, I think of them as my parents first instead of, like, a man and a woman, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So, I personally, and even, like, my uncles and, like, my cousins and stuff, it's not, like, something that really comes up. I think that's also, like, kind of, like, cultural based, though, as well. Some cultures, like, put more emphasis on, like, being a man, you know, masculinity, and then our culture is not really like that, I would say, so much.
That's fair.
That's just my opinion, though.
I mean, I kind of agree. I can't really think of anything where it's like, is that toxic masculinity? Probably not. It was more so just, like, I have two younger brothers, so just, like, pushing each other to be better and doing stuff like that. But that's
that's not toxic at all.
That's not toxic at all.
That's a good thing. That's, like, a healthy relationship.
Yeah, so I don't think that's toxic at all.
Right.
If it is, then those people are dumb, to be honest.
Yeah, agreed. If anyone who says that, like, that is toxic, that they need to check their definition of it again.
Yeah, so I don't think so.
Right.
Would you say, do you have that in your family?
No, definitely not. I don't think, obviously we have clear gender roles in the family.
Yeah.
Like, the dad has to, like, provide and, like, support the family. Like, the mom, like, my mom has to, like, make sure, like, the kids are, I don't know, learning and, like, provide, emotionally to the family from that sense.
Yep.
But not, like, there's no, like, a toxicity to it, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And as far as my siblings go, I don't think that my siblings and I have a pretty decent relationship, so I don't think we have any toxicity, like, from both genders, I guess. Yeah, that's what I think about it. But
which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on. How do you, like, sort of, like, I guess, like, a segue to families and siblings? How do you think it is like for you I know you are the oldest in your amongst your siblings,
yep.
and you are one of the younger siblings, right? How do you think that role fits you, and how do you think it would be different for you guys if you weren't in that position? Like, let's say you were the eldest brother, and you were the youngest, or like you were the middle child.
Yeah.
How would that change your personality? Would it change your personality? You guys think?
I think it would to a certain degree. I feel like being the oldest, you gotta set the example in a lot of ways, and not by purpose, but you're kind of like the guinea pig because your parents are living for the first time too, so you're learning a lot of stuff on the go,
right?
And then you're learning stuff. It's not necessarily exactly what you expect or want out of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So being the youngest, I feel like I'd be way more loose and in terms of probably a bit more immature if I was younger, but also someone who's can look at other people's lessons, like older brothers or siblings or whoever it might be. I can apply it as opposed to myself being a bit more
you have more of a path set
and
down
focused
for you.
on what I'm doing. Yeah,
fair.
In that sense, I don't know, Abdul.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, I feel like what you just described is pretty much exactly how my life went. Where with 3 older siblings, 2 of them being guys as well, I've seen all the different possibilities for situations. I'm basically like Doctor Strange. I've seen all the different possibilities, whatever he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've seen okay, my oldest brother does one thing a certain way, my second older brother and my sister, and then it's I have all these choices for me, and I know what path they're gonna lead to. So it's it's kind of a burden off me, I guess. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm doing anything unique, for the first time.
So is that somewhat of an emotional burden to you, or do you think?
I mean, it's sometimes you kind of feel like you're living in the shadow of your siblings a little bit. Maybe your siblings feel this, both of you guys. I mean, they'll never say, right? It's not something you say to your older siblings, but it's just something you have in the back of your mind where it's
So you always have to you always have that thought that I gotta be different. I gotta prove myself.
Yeah,
to be different.
I gotta stand out a little bit. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes.
Interesting. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, no, because I mean, the first person who does anything, you're always unique because you're the first one to do it, right? And then everyone else, you want to. Individuality, uniqueness in this world is very valued. Being able to stand out, be different, right? So, especially when you come from the same family, you have to think of okay, how can I be different? And I feel for a lot of my life growing up, it was thinking to myself, okay, how do I stand out? In what ways do I want to be like them? Because obviously you admire your older siblings.
You want to get the good things from them, and then leave the bad things.
If you have a healthy relationship with them, you look up to them. You're okay, I want to be like you. You set a good example. So there's a couple of things where, for instance, basketball. I'll just give a personal example. My second older brother, he was a really good basketball player. He made the team in high school and everything. And basketball was always one of those things where I was I had some interest in it, not nearly as much as him, my brother. But I still tried out for the team in high school just because he kind of did it, and I was I want to see if I can do it too. I didn't make the team, and I was okay, that's one thing that's different between me and him. He's good at basketball, me not so much. But that's how you learn a lot about yourself too. You compare yourself to your siblings and be am I like them in this regard, or am I different in a different way? So if I was the oldest, that was kind of a tangent, but if I was the oldest instead of a younger sibling, I feel it would be a lot like you said, where you're kind of the guinea pig. You're learning a lot on the go because, especially young parents, right? If you have kids early on, in your early 20s, your brain isn't even fully developed. You're still kind of a kid yourself.
You're still figuring it out too.
You have to raise your own kids. So,
right.
That also depends on the age of your parents, but so that's true too. Yeah.
I feel it also helps the younger one develop. You mentioned individuality, where it's interesting. Sometimes when you're the oldest, it's you kind of may have a set path depending on what ethnicity you are, where you're going. So it's kind of nice for the younger ones to kind of try different things outside of what your oldest sibling is doing.
Especially it depends too. I feel if there's a big age gap. For instance, right, my oldest brother and then my youngest brother, there's a 12-year age gap.
Yeah.
So that's
that's
a generation, you could say, pretty much almost. So the things my oldest brother did were different compared to what life is for my older brother or my younger brother when he got to that age, right? So if you're closer in age, just a year or two apart, then you're more connected because you're pretty much living the same life.
It's pretty much you're the same age range. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I think being the oldest, like you were saying, it's a life of being a lab rat, because a lot of things are being tested on you by your parents, and they're and I think I heard somewhere that your parents are not the same parents that you had for your like yours, like the parents you saw when you were growing up are not going to be the same parents that your sibling is going to get.
Yeah,
because they'll be different people as well. As you are becoming a different person and as you are growing, they're also growing as well. So they'll be completely different people as well. And I see that, honestly. Like growing up, my parents were very strict.
Yeah.
Towards me and like me and my brother, because like we're like a year apart. But for our sister, who's a lot younger than us, they approach the whole parenting thing completely different. They're more lax about things.
Yeah.
They also like rely on us as older brothers for to like guide her as well. So they expect us to like also be like the road maps as well.
Yeah.
So like their parenting style is more lax and like they are more chill about it, I guess, you know. So it's I mean it's a good thing, but it's also like sometimes we are like, why are you letting her do this, and like why couldn't we do that when we were growing up, you know? So we draw comparisons, but like in hindsight it makes sense because again they're not the same people they were when they were raising us.
Younger,
yeah, they were younger, they had like different mindsets, they had different goals, and now like they probably have different goals as well. So yeah, it's like you see that. You might not notice it, but like if you really reflect on it, you will notice it that like, wow, these are not the same people who raised me.
Yeah.
Even though they are my parents, but like their personality, because you are like just constantly like living with them, interacting with them, you might not notice that change over time. But if you like check from point A to point B, which is point B being like today and point A being like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Very different people, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Anything else to add before we move on to another topic? Yeah, we have a lot of different topics to talk about today, so we'll just be jumping off right after. So I'm gonna be picking their brains as much as I can.
And yours as well.
Yeah, I will try to add to it as much as possible. Yeah, I don't want to be like the interviewer. I want to add like stuff to it too. Yeah. But if I don't, just ask me questions for sure.
Yeah.
Next thing we were deciding on was like talking about schooling, and do you guys think that schooling like going to school, going to like college and higher degree universities and higher level classes and education, do you guys think that is necessary in this day and age?
No.
Short answer. What is your short answer?
I'd also say no.
All right. Reasoning why I agree with that. No, for sure no, because like now content creation, trade school, and like a lot of other like industries are like really really big now, especially AI as well, because like that's really like with that you have like a lot of accessibility, a lot of ease to information, and it helps you like really really like decide what you want to do without the hassle of going to college. You know, like how the cookie cutter method was like, oh, high school, college, or university, get a degree and or maybe and then pursue maybe like higher level degrees as well, and then you get a good job.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's like you could just be a high school graduate and then right off the bat, like if you came up with a good idea, or if you like saw an opportunity and you chose to go with that, you could just make it big.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's just what I think about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think if you want to go to college, like go for something that's worth it. Like if you really want to be a nurse or a doctor, then okay, yeah, go for it. You can't just become one without it. But if you're trying to do something like, you know, I know the joke is like underwater basket weaving or something like that, some random degree that people do. You gotta think in terms of output. So if there's no output and you're actually in a career that's actually generating revenue, then you're not gonna be able to sustain yourself. You're gonna have to pay off loans. Yeah. Even choosing schools, you can be really specific, like between going for something that may be out of state, not worth it, whereas you can go 2 years at a community college, get your prereqs done, and then transfer. Like, if you want to do that, I think it's such a good idea. It's such a smart idea. So if you want to do that, you should definitely do that.
Right.
But there, like you said, like trade school, there's, you know, all this content creation stuff. There's even stuff where you don't need to, like, for example, like cybersecurity. You don't need to necessarily, you can go through and get your cybersecurity cert, get some experience, internships, and start working. So you don't necessarily need to go to college for cybersecurity specifically. So,
I mean, they were also coding camps like a few years back, and you could just land a job immediately if you were good enough.
And it's really the timing too, because those, like, the timing was right, I feel like now there's so much saturation with that. You're not going to get a job for a majority of those people, or like design jobs, tech design jobs specifically too. You're not. It's going to be a struggle to get it if you just go through like a generic boot camp. But it really comes down to the experiences you have. Everyone got different goals and paths that they want to take. But I think definitely having an idea of what you want to get out of college, if you're going, should be thought about in advance. And I think high school, you got to try out as many things as possible to see what you like. So then you can decide, do I need to take some time? Maybe I can gain some skills like HVAC or plumbing or whatever, electrician, build upon those skills. You can always go back to school, but you can't reverse going into school for something you don't want to do specifically. But I don't know if we'll go, like, what your thoughts are on.
So all I want to say about this is that baby boomers had it so easy back then. No, it's true.
I mean, yeah, you're
literally,
right.
Like back then, the pipeline was finish high school, go to college, guaranteed. Like if you have a degree, you're gonna get a good job. You can afford a house. Like you can one man, he could be the breadwinner of the house, provide for his whole family. Now a degree has lost so much like meaning,
no value, like little to no value.
Yeah, it's like back then, like a degree was a super prestigious like special thing that a person could have, and you were guaranteed a good job. Yeah. But now, like, it doesn't even mean anything. Like, you can get a degree, and you can still be unemployed.
You need to do higher studies for sure. Like, if you want to like land a good job.
Yeah, a college degree has kind of become the equivalent of a high school diploma now. Like, you need it just to get into the realm of other stepping stones to have a chance for a good job.
I think even for corporate America, though, like, it's like for that, like, it's like, yeah, a majority of people have degrees, but a lot of big ways people get jobs is like networking and actually meeting people. It's not even like they get the degree, cool, whatever, but they network so much and met so many people that they get that job, which they can do outside of school too. You know, it's not like only school.
It's not, the degree is only like 50% of the effort now. Now it's just like who you know and how you talk to them.
Yeah,
like your connections like matter so much. Because another thing too, like when you look at some of these job applications on websites like LinkedIn or whatever, like it's
100
like
people in an hour.
And it's also like entry level. Okay, 5 years experience needed.
2 years of experience.
How am I supposed to get the experience if it's entry level? Like that doesn't make any sense. It's like the expectations are so much higher too, and it's like how am I supposed to fulfill those if I just finished college? So that's why internships and everything are so important now.
Definitely, no, internships are huge. I think the annoying thing too is when you say entry level and then you look at like skills that they would need to come in doing these things at a high level where it's like, what's the point of it called entry level?
Expectation,
regardless of the career path, like corporate, you know, tech side of things, whatever job you want to do. Whereas like certain careers like trade schools have apprenticeships and they learn the skills throughout time and then they start working. Like there's a huge benefit to those sort of programs.
Speaking of trade school, like, do you guys think this is underappreciated or? Like,
I think it was, but I think now people are really getting on it, and I think there's a big shift.
So it was overlooked before, but now
I
think now a lot of people, a lot of people are getting to it. It might be getting oversaturated at a certain point because you see all these high school kids who are like, I'm not going to college for no reason, so I'll just go, you know, whatever trade school route I want to go. Get out and start working even quicker so that they can sustain themselves in different ways. Yeah.
I agree. Honestly, I do think doing stuff hands-on is a very good thing you should have. It's a good skill. Like, knowing any kind of trade, be it like electricianing or like plumbing, HVAC, whatever. Yep. It's honestly, it's very, very, very great, I think, in my opinion. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if it's getting like saturated or not anymore. Like you said, it's like it's definitely gotten more like popularity these days.
I think so.
And people have been talking about it, but I don't know. Like I don't really know if it's like picking up speed and people are like actually taking the jobs and like going into trade school.
I think definitely more high school kids are like seeing it and definitely choosing to go that route. Especially if they don't know what they want to do, because then you're tied up with a lot of money in school. This is another thing when you're talking about older generation folk, like they put so much emphasis on the education part, but they don't like evolve with the times and realize that it depends on what you go for and may not have the end result that you really wanted to have.
Unfortunately,
so that's like a disconnect between generations, essentially.
People are saying, like, especially older people, they're like, oh, just like do something you love, like, but it's not enough anymore. You can't just go into what you really want. Like, if you try really, really hard, sure, but like you have to have such a like a path set out in your mind for like, okay, I'm gonna like do this degree with this specific like concentration. I'm gonna do this, this, and this. It's not enough to just be like, oh, I really love like political science or like writing or like math. Like you have to like have it so concrete, like that's such a concrete plan in your mind, which is sad. And then sometimes it's still not even enough. Like you're just gonna be waiting for a job.
Well, college to get in is so competitive now too.
Yeah,
and outside of that, especially now, like kids have to do crazy extracurriculars and like GPAs and a lot of the test score stuff is great, but a lot of kids aren't hitting that, so like they got to do leadership stuff and extracurriculars.
They got to stand out some other way.
When you have a standard set, it just makes the standard go up even higher.
Exactly.
Like say like I don't know. I'm throwing a number out there. Say like 10 years ago, the average number on the ACT was like 26, right? I'm just saying that because I got 26 on my ACT. Yeah. And then say like 5 years ago now, right? It's like 28. So now, like back then at 28 was good. It was above the average, right? Yep. But now at 28 is the new average. So like you have to do even better than that to like stand
over time.
out.
Yep.
And it just keeps going up.
Yep.
Another thing too. One more.
You think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I think
like, I don't know. I don't think really.
I don't think you can categorize it as good or bad. It's just like a product of the time.
Fair.
It's like,
that's a fair point.
I guess like people are learning more strategies like to.
Yeah, well, because that's a whole conversation itself. You could argue that like the ACT, SAT, it's not a.
It's very outdated now.
Yeah, well, it's not a measure of your intelligence. It's just a measure of being able to cram and study for certain things.
Like, I guess it's more of like how good you are at testing strategies and like. Can you make the best decision in a time limit, like in a time constraint?
But, there's a difference between like intelligence and like being able to
I think
like do stuff like that.
Well, I think that's part of the issue too, where it's like these sort of tests or things where it's testing those things, but it's not really testing like the knowledge or like the critical thinking skills specifically.
Because I mean, I understand it though. It's a very streamlined process, right? Like colleges have like thousands upon thousands of applicants. Like they need some method to be able to viably like. Just do a basic, like, can you even do this? If not, okay, you're not going to get into the school. Like, and if you do well, okay, now let's look at the other stuff, like your leadership, your extracurriculars, and whatnot. But one thing I want to go back to, we were talking about earlier for, like, how trade schools appealing to some kids. I feel like there's another thing with that, too, where some kids, like, some people are just not, like, those types of learners, right? They don't want to, like, cram for tests. They don't want to study.
So they're more kinesthetic and, like...
Yeah, that's why, like, hands-on. Like, some people are naturally, like... hands-on learners, right? They prefer to do stuff like that. That's why trade school is so appealing. Because, like, if you already struggle in high school, like, to barely get A's or, like, C's and B's, right, to pass, and then college is just so much harder. The lectures are harder. The tests are harder. Like, why would you put yourself through 4 more years of that? Of, like, studying midnight sessions. Some people don't want to do that. It's, like, brutal to them. And then the chance of being able to learn hands-on with trade school, like, that's so much more appealing. And that's okay, because people are different learners in life.
Well, so many people can't even just sit in class for 8 hours or like even a test like 3-4 hours. It's like and they're thinking about having to do it for another 4 years.
Exactly.
They enjoy doing something with their hands.
Yeah.
That's actually like they're actually learning something then and actually growing skill sets that they need. That's why I feel like a lot of the studying, like even high schoolers, it's like. It's just to learn it for the test or learn it for the ACT. It's just a brain dump, and then they dump it.
I've heard of so many people.
And then even
I'm guilty of that as well, where I would learn something for a test, like upcoming, and then if you ask me like a month later, do you still remember this? I don't really know. I forgot it. I just crammed it into my tiny part of my brain for
just
the test,
for that time.
And then it's not important anymore, unless it's like in the specific field I was interested in, like to go to college. But
which is an issue because then you're not. Like learning to be curious and actually learn.
You're just
so how do you make something stick for yourself then? Like if you are employing that kind of strategy, like what if you need to have that like later down the line? So what do you do exactly that makes it stick for you?
So in my personal opinion, if something like that happens, I would say just like constantly reading like more stuff about that like particular topic, like in the field.
So you
of
explore
study.
more into it.
Like. Okay. I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head. Like, say something for, like, a science class, right? Say you have to know, like, chemistry back in high school, right? You have to know the different, like, atomic numbers of elements, and you have to know, like, what kind of elements they were and whatnot, right? I would cram that for the test, and then I would forget because it's not important anymore. I don't really care about chemistry. But say I was someone, then I would continue to look up, like, how to do, like, equations with, like, mole and whatever, all that stuff, right?
So you look up examples, like, real life, like...
Yeah, and keep applying it. I feel like as long as you keep it fresh in your mind, then it's fine. Because usually I feel like in school, sometimes, like, one unit is about a very particular thing, and the next unit is, like, nothing to do with that. You just leave it in the past.
Yeah.
So then it's, like, it's possible to leave it in the past because you're not building upon that. Of course, that depends on the subject you're taking, but... So yeah, that's also true.
I feel like you can also do different types of learning too. Like in school, I feel like a lot of it's like just memorization and stuff. Where like you're in science class, so why don't you do more interactive projects where people are actually building stuff with their hands and learning that way, as opposed to just memorizing stuff off a sheet over and over and over again.
Fair. No, I agree with that. So, in you guys' opinion, that what is the true value of education? Is it like success, skill, or survival?
Say it again.
So, in your opinion, what is the true value of education? Success, skill, so like learning and building on that, or just for survival, so like you can eat the next day.
I think all the above.
I was going to say a little bit of all three.
Yeah, I think
just a mix. I kind of agree, but I guess like I'm also more leaning towards like skill as well. Maybe like once you have enough of like a foundation of that, you can either build upon that and like use that for future knowledge. But I also think that like knowledge in general is just like any knowledge is good. Maybe not all knowledge.
I think it's how you apply the knowledge.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be all the knowledge you learn. Because there's so many kids who learn stuff.
You can just know like random stuff that has nothing to do with anything.
There's a lot of kids who learn stuff and then they just like they never apply and then just sitting there and they don't really use it, right? So it's like, what's the point?
Well, like everyone knows mitochondria is a powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah.
Even if they use it as a meme, it's still like it's ingrained in their mind, right?
It's good to learn, remember stuff, I guess. It's good
but I don't know like how they would apply it, obviously. But
survival is part of what we just talked about, like picking the right major. You can't just pick whatever and not be able to afford anything or be able to pay for stuff. And then what was the other?
Success. So
I think success depends on what's success for
each
individual person.
Yeah, that also, I was going to say, each person has a different
definition. Some people want to keep climbing the ladder and go to certain high positions. I feel like that's what a lot of the older generations say, like, do one jobs, keep climbing the ladder. Whereas younger people are like, no, I don't necessarily want to add in all this necessary stress. Like, I'm good at this level, and I want to keep doing this, and then outside of work, I'll build skills and have different sources of income and live your life. I think that's another generational gap.
Yeah.
For sure, I think so.
Older generation would say, like, you should devote your life to your job. And then a lot of, like, younger people, no, it's true.
Companies don't care, yeah.
Yeah, no,
nowadays,
they say, like, there's a good healthy work-life balance. Because especially a lot of, older people will say, like, your job is the most important thing in your life. And your family, like, it's important too, but, like, your job, you need, everything comes from your job. Where now we know, like, okay, work is important, we need money, sure, but, like, what's the point of having money if you want to, like, kill yourself on a daily basis? Like, honestly, right?
Yeah.
So,
I was talking to Erik earlier in the morning today, and I kind of said the same thing. Like, do you live to work or do you work to live? You know, like that comparison. Like,
you should work to live.
Exactly. So, like, there's like it's a little bit different. Like, so like you should strive for that. But like you said, like older generations like want you to like you live to work, which is not like. It's not conducive for like a healthy mindset or like and not a happy life either. Like,
well, okay. Let me just interrupt you real quick. Again, this also goes back to what your work is. If you do something you're really passionate about,
I agree.
That's also
you don't consider it work.
It's not
That's
work.
a huge thing. Yeah.
But then again, so then it's not considered work. Though,
yeah.
right?
Then this is a whole.
That's like then it's a passion. And
Well, if you're one of those lucky people to where you can make sustainable income off of that, then your life is amazing, fantastic.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people, I would say, in the world, that's not really
to them, it's actually work.
Yeah, then it's work. And then you have to find that middle ground of, like, okay, I need this. I care about it because it's giving me money, but, like, I don't want it to take over my life. So.
Agreed.
Well, then it might take away from other parts of your life, too, if you over-focus on it.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
You're, like, messing up relationships and whatever, X, Y, Z from that.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to add to this?
I think we hit it pretty good.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Moving on. Oh man. What part of current day technology do you think we should get rid of? So like TVs, phones, computers, your glasses, your pencils.
Glasses. I need my glasses. I want to be able to see.
He's talking about like meta glasses and stuff. I don't know. I need to think about that.
Abdul, do you have anything in mind? That you'd be like, oh man, we definitely don't need this technology. Just like get rid of it. It can be like the most mundane thing possible.
I think people need to understand the impact technology can have on you if you don't if you're not aware of it, you don't monitor it.
Talking about like cell phones and stuff.
I think in general, people watch there's older people watch TV for hours, watching news over and over again. Yeah. So I think being able to understand and set limits for yourself, regardless of what the technology is important to understand when it's affecting your life and how you should manage who you are and what other things you need to do instead of just coming back from work, going on your phone on TikTok or going watching TV and watching a bunch of YouTube videos for no reason that don't really do anything for you. Even if you're trying to have fun, I understand, but don't do it for then 3 or 4 hours go by and you're killing half your evening or a majority of it.
No, because I agree with that, because I feel like technology is one of those things where it's always a positive. Having new technology created is never a bad thing. Off the top of my head, I guess, maybe if I thought some more, but I can't think of...
I don't know about that.
No, I can't feel about, anything that's made is a positive in some way.
I don't know about
that. Either just the technological implications of it, or, what it could do for humanity. I guess you could say, robots, AI, sure, that's the current hot topic.
What do you think is the positive thing about getting speaking sex dolls?
I mean, it shows how we can create artificial bodies. I guess there's always a positive in something.
I guess you're trying to find something positive out of that. I guess.
I think he means the way in which you use it.
Yeah,
instead of
the application we use it for sex. Okay, that's debatable.
For example, ChatGPT, right? There's people who use it to learn more, but then there's people who depend on it for everything. And
no, again,
they ask the dumbest questions.
With technology,
so it depends on. I think it just depends on how you use it.
That's fair. So would your answer be that you won't get rid of anything then? Or
no, I agree with what Eric was saying. Where it really just depends on how you limit your usage of something. I think so too. Because
that's fair.
I don't even consider myself a super optimistic person, but I would just say there's a lot of benefits in technology. It provides something beneficial. I would say.
Yeah.
It might be kind of hard to look for it, but
so keep it all, but just make sure you're using it for the right purposes.
Right reasons. Yeah, definitely.
That's fair. Yeah, interesting.
Because I would say it's always better to have more access to something than less of something. Because technology, that's the thing about it. You can always improve it in some way or another too. So having the stepping stones of it, the first steps, and then be able to build off of it, that's always a positive thing, in my opinion. Compared to back then what we didn't have, we wish we had, and it's that's how I view it, I guess.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I just noticed the light over there just went out. Yeah. So, alright, that's cool.
Technology.
What else we got?
So I guess this is sort of a segue towards phones. Do you guys think that phones are being misused these days, and are they a net positive or a net negative to you guys? Maybe personally to you guys, and then overall in general to people.
Okay, so I will say one thing. I'm again going to speak from my personal experience. So with my current job, working with children on a pretty daily basis, right? I'm not gonna obviously get into specifics or anything, but I have noticed that there is a trend of kids getting phones at younger ages. I'm sure you guys agree with this, where that should not be the standard at all. We are very much approaching a generation where they're growing up little kids, 3 to 5.
iPad baby generation.
Yeah, iPad baby generation. I couldn't think of the name yet. Thank you.
Yeah.
And there's so many negative aspects that come of that. So many ways it's harming their brains and their development and everything. So this is just one specifically I'm talking about for little kids, but yeah, I definitely feel there should be a limit on what age you get a phone for your kid or any kind of electronic device. You should wait till they're older, and this might be a little biased because obviously I had to wait for a while for me to get my phone, but just you can look at the studies of the effects it has on your brain when you're growing up, constant screen time.
Yep.
And the thing that annoys me too is, again, I'm getting pretty particular about this, but I've seen it parties and events before I've gone to where parents of little kids, their kids get antsy and they're little
parents just hand their phones to the kids,
and then they're just drone out doing that, and it's that's not how you I get you want to break, sure, but
that's not
parents
how you
in the
take care of
past,
the solution.
they didn't have devices. How did they deal with their kids? They talk to them. They talk them manners. I'm sounding kind of a boomer right now, but it's true.
It's true.
They found a way to deal with it back then. Yeah. Just because we have this now doesn't mean that
you completely rely on that.
Yeah.
You still need to do your parenting jobs.
That's what parenting for thousands of years we've relied on teaching your kids. It's okay to have emotions and act out. You're a little kid, but don't just give them a screen and be like, okay, they're fine now. Like,
yeah, and I think like it's also causing a lot of isolation amongst the younger generation
exactly,
as well.
Definitely.
Like since you're so preoccupied with your tablet or your phone, you don't know how to interact with your classmate who's just sitting next to you.
There's no need to do it.
Exactly. You're like everything is at the tip of your fingers, but like you're still searching that niche topic that you are interested into, and then you can't talk about anything else like in your life to like the person next to you. I also don't know. I obviously haven't been to like a school anytime recently, but
I think the part of the issue too is they get so like, not even they, but in general, people get so comfortable being in that headspace where you're not forced to get uncomfortable and then build new methods of like, how do I talk to someone else near me? How do I have social skills? How do I build relationships with different people? And how do I like learn new things and get over obstacles? And that builds confidence over time too, learning how to get through those obstacles, whether it's social or other areas.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of kids were like, no, I'll just kind of revert back to going staying on their phones, doing stuff or searching stuff up and not getting outside their comfort zone. So I think in terms of the question, I think it might be a net negative right now.
So for sure on the younger generation.
I think in general. I think there's a lot of people regardless of the age who are still addicted to the
I mean, I think I did see somewhere that like it is causing a general isolation.
I think isolation, addiction, and I definitely think the inability to grow because the reliance on it is heavy, so you don't go out and talk to people, your like communities, build skills, build communities, and that's a lot of what people used to do. They used to come together to exchange ideas and then be able to help the younger generations grow up in that community and teach them skills and be outside and learn how to change a flat tire and build social skills during that learn other stuff along the way. Whereas now you can just pop a video, which is great. You can learn how to do it for people who need it, right? Yeah. That's great too, but you miss that other part of it.
I think going off of how I was raised, I think after school I would just like after doing my homework and stuff, I would just immediately like leave the house and just like go hang out with the neighbor kids or like my friends if they're like close by, and just like do some stuff outside, like socialize with them outside, like go play basketball, soccer, whatever.
Touch grass.
Touch grass. Touch grass. Yeah, and then
be outside in the sun. Exactly. That's a huge thing.
And we did have Xbox as well, but like that wasn't like predominantly like what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
We did I think we had a healthier balance, if not the healthiest.
I would say so. I'd lean towards it.
But yeah, it's like it's interesting how the kids these days are growing up. And adding to what you were saying, Abdul, I think I also saw Andrew Huberman talking to Joe Rogan on his podcast that like kids who are like using iPads, I think research shows that like their eyesight has been getting weaker, so they're becoming more farsighted, meaning like they can't the stuff they like up close they can't like read as well, and like they it's harder for them, like their eyesight is getting weaker in general. So which is also like an interesting phenomenon, like physical deterioration as well. Like your eyes are like growing.
It makes sense. Yeah. Like because I've heard that ever since I was a kid, the longer you stare at a screen, the worse your vision's gonna get. Especially if you do
that's like dark. That has some like nuance to it, but like if you're consistently like looking at things that are like super close to you, your eyeballs are gonna grow in a fashion that like are gonna adjust to that, right? Yep. If you're not looking far out in the distance and you're not like using that function of your eye, obviously your body's gonna be like, all right, I don't need to be like forming that.
Yeah,
maybe. But again, I feel like a lot of that is because of like what's in technology, like the blue light or filter, whatever, all that stuff. Because like I know kids who grow up reading a lot and their vision is fine. They're still reading close. So it's not. Maybe there's some truth behind what you're saying, but I feel like a lot of it is because of the technology.
Could be, yeah.
Like you're taking in all the radiation from like iPads and phones and whatnot.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
It's true though. He's right.
Oh, there is like I get that. So net negative for sure from both of you guys.
I think so.
I would say
and not just for kids, for literally everyone.
I think so too. I even think older people like they kind of rely on to watch whatever they watch.
No, and then you start to get like nowadays you get like AI generated videos, and boomers are like, oh my god, like this kid got rescued by a bear. Like it's real. They don't even know what's real and what's not anymore. Yeah, like Sora. If you guys have seen Sora recently, like it's a new AI video making thing. I think
And dude, it's so realistic.
It's kind of crazy.
It's kind of scary.
Hard to even tell for us,
yeah,
young people.
Without the watermark, it's sometimes like you're questioning it. Like, is it like, did I see like what I saw? Was that actually like real? Especially if there's not like any like stupid things happening in the video.
The fingers, or like they're like phasing through, like
whatever. Yeah, or like if you've seen like the dog at the doorbell thing, you know.
Yeah,
the dog,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
and then he just sprays water at an old lady or something.
Yeah. Like
I think
those people could think it's real, and then that's harmful.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I think for tech too, like the other thing is technology is like the whole ethics behind, like especially with new stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a huge thing. Well, like how do you handle that? Because no one really knows exactly how to handle that.
Right.
And that's gonna be a huge like stumbling block
that we have to deal with.
So, do you guys think it's expanding and it's innovating way too fast for it to be like categorized and like it to be like controlled and like the ethics for that to be designed, and should that be happening or should it not be happening?
I think technology is just gonna. I definitely think AI and even ML, machine learning, and other stuff like that, it's exceeding at a rapid pace, and that's just due to the actual technology itself. Yeah. So it's hard to limit it, but it's also, finding ways to keep up in terms of how do we think along the ethics of it, or how do we. That's why a lot of this, data and cybersecurity stuff is becoming so important, because how do you protect information that's so accessible now, and we use the internet for everything in all these certain areas. So I think a big part of it is understanding like security around it, ethics around it, and being able to understand like where do we draw the line in terms of, okay, this is way too much in terms of what we're doing, because people are losing opportunities, or they're getting exposed unfairly due to certain ways. Or they're losing privacy, for example. Like, that's a huge...
Yeah, privacy is a huge thing nowadays. Like,
even security breaches and stuff.
So many, like, all the time.
All the time. With companies now, it's happening. So, I think definitely finding... Obviously, technology is going to keep on improving, but being innovative in how you problem solve for those areas is going to be vital. So,
thoughts on AI, like how we were mentioning Sora. You guys think that's a tool, or is it a turning point, or is it a threat to our... normal day-to-day lives and the betterment of society?
I think it's such a big answer, but it depends on how you use it. And I think it's like there's people who like use it to there's people who use it to learn stuff at a rapid pace in a more efficient manner than you can read books from.
Yeah.
So that's great, but then there's AI in terms of like using it for bad, for putting fake jobs on LinkedIn, for example, and then getting
I've seen so many things like that. Yeah.
That's such a breach of ethics and stuff like that. In that sense, where you're using AI to generate copy or generate false job posters, and then that's out there, and then people apply for and put in their information. Now you got their information, so
is that considered like job catfishing?
In a way, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
I've heard about companies.
I've seen stuff like
they
this.
They literally just have like a quota. Almost like cops with like tickets. They just have to like reach a certain amount of job applications, so they post like ghost postings basically, where they know they're not going to hire anyone. They make it look real. People apply, and then they just withdraw it after a couple of whatever weeks.
Exactly.
And there's no way to tell which ones are real, which one are legit.
There's another one on top of that is where it's more like you have these staffing firms who will like copy job postings from other companies, and then they'll put that out there, but it's like a fake staffing company with like
I've had those calls quite often. I think I also felt like
it's scam. You definitely can understand how scammy you could feel.
They're like, oh, we have this offer, and and if you're desperate and you're looking for a job, like you'll be like, man, I need to I should provide information so I can maybe I can get this position. So you're more likely to be like, okay, I'll provide you this information, this, and you end up, I don't know, I don't think I've been scammed yet, but maybe I have. Maybe my information is out there. I just don't know.
I feel like all of our information is some way out there, unfortunately.
Well, I think when you talk, like you mentioned the other part, like the extinction part, I feel like it depends on, like AI should augment like humans' like lifestyle and like goals and what you want it to do and support it. But it shouldn't take it over and because I think a part of that's happening. We shouldn't form reliance on it. Yeah, because I think that's happening now where people they're not thinking at a high level. They're not as creative because they just put stuff into AI and like, oh, now I can just do this, or they're not building that higher level thinking that
it's sort of become like the new Google, but like more. We definitely rely on it.
Because at least in Google, you have to connect the points between stuff you search out and draw inferences, whereas this, it just gives you everything.
Right.
So I think
no effort required at all.
Types of thinking like that, like you're losing it. So, if you compare that to people back in the day, like Socrates or whoever it is, those types of people don't really exist as much anymore because they don't really think like that anymore.
I want to give one personal example. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because I don't want to get fired or anything. But no, this is the thing with my job. So there is this one teacher at my job, and then there's this one student. Again, I'm not going to say any names, but this kid, he's an older kid for sure, and he's supposed to be doing these assignments in high school, right? And the teacher told me that he is the epitome of what we're talking about, where he just chat GPTs everything. Yep. He doesn't know how to look up actual stuff. And it's very the teacher has said that he has no social skills. And he's a very awkward kid. And he's this generation where he's 10th grade. You're in you're what 14, 15ish. Yeah. So
if all the solutions are given to him, he's not really failing, which means he's not really learning at the same time either.
Yeah. No, I mean, his grades are not that good. That's why he's going there in the first place. But, he doesn't put in the effort. He just tries to find a shortcut in the easiest way possible. And, he's the result of, when you have ChatGPT and all this, stuff available, you don't have to work anymore as a student. You have to try because you just find the easy way out. And then it, affects you socially, mentally. And it's just, that's just one real-world example. I'm sure there's lots of other kids that they're just scraping by at the bottom of the barrel in order to
just to get to wherever they need to get to pass.
And then once they get there, they're I'm not prepared. I don't have the skills. I didn't develop them when I was growing up. I should have.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you think people like those when they grow up to be in their 20s or the 21s, after college, how do you think they will be functioning? What would their reliance on AI be like or ChatGPT be like?
Well, I think this is definitely happening with technology. You see the divide between people who are kicking ass and going up, and then people are just going in the opposite direction. There's less people in the middle. It's more I feel it's kind of diverging certain ways where it's for example, 20 years ago, you got nerds, you got jocks. Nowadays, you got nerd who does jujitsu, and they're all well rounded, and they choose to do these things and do focus on that, which is a great thing. Whereas there's people who are on the opposite end of the spectrum where they don't do anything. Yeah. They go to school, they pass the bare minimum. They're not trying to learn. They're not trying to push themselves, and then those are habits that will be built upon and then ingrained. So once you get to your 20s or 30s, that's where you start to see the divide, where those certain people are making more money and building, other people are going kind of downhill or trying to figure out where do I stand and where do I go from here.
Right. Agreed. And I mean I'm also guilty of using quite a bit of ChatGPT sometimes.
I think we all do, yeah.
But I don't know, how would you do better from there? What would be the semi solution for approaching AI from now on? Should you just stop AI, using ChatGPT for everything, or should you should you use it for let's say an hour or two, or
I agree with that, where we should stop using it as much
altogether, or just minimize it as much as possible.
I mean, no, I think you need to figure out, you need to have systems on how you use it, as opposed to stopping it. So for example, if I want to get the fine details of a book so I can apply it to something else, tell it to give me a summary, but I don't use it to connect the dots. I take the information, I connect the dots myself.
Yeah.
Being able to use it in that right way, where there's pros to using it for sure. It's just,
so you get the information, but you're still doing the critical thinking.
Yeah, you're still doing the critical thinking, developing the skills.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I think that's how you got to approach it. So that I don't know exactly what it is, but a system of how you want to use it.
So approach it like a database instead of like a Oracle, which gives you all the answers you want. So you get the necessary information, and then you build off, like you were saying, build off off of it.
Yeah, and then let's say you're trying to connect the dots and you're struggling,
and then you get in check with it. You just run ideas. I mean,
you can even tell it give me hints or nudge me in the right direction, so it's not fully telling you either. And then
that's actually a good way. Then it makes you think as well.
You could say nudge me or tell me a little bit of how to get the process rolling. Then you go off and you do it, and then you may connect the dots. You may try to come back, and it's a feedback loop.
That's actually a good way to approach it. I agree.
It just depends on how you use it.
That's interesting because I would say I wouldn't even use ChatGPT for something like that. Like the thing you said of database, that's mainly how I consider it. Because I'll be honest, the only thing I really use ChatGPT for is like job like searches. Like I'll just be like, what is a job for like an English writer like recent like within the last week, and then it pulls up like the average like results on like these different Indeed and stuff, right? I would never consider to use it to like, okay, summarize this book for me. It just feels like wrong. I'd rather just read the book myself.
Well,
I feel like there's no benefit of doing that.
I think it depends on who you are and what you want to do for that cause.
I agree with Eric on that.
I think it depends because you can gain a lot from reading a book. I agree. I love reading too, but like there's certain stuff where it's like it's more of like a math book and usually like or a science book and like
I don't want to read the whole.
I'm not trying to read the whole book.
At that point, I'd rather just like read a Wikipedia article.
Well, that's exactly.
But that's what it is. It's like a database, like you know.
It's not. ChatGPT is pulling across everything. Like at least Wikipedia.
No, but then you can put narrow it out, and then you can tell like find the actual information. Not like don't just pull like all the garbage from the internet.
Yeah, you can narrow down the prompt for it. No, I think it's how you like with ChatGPT. It's how you prompt it. Like in tech people, that's a big thing. It's like it's not necessarily like how you prompt it. You got to be a skilled person to prompt and use it. So building those skills on how to prompt in the right way.
So your average person can't use ChatGPT.
So should a teacher?
I think they can use it effectively if they learn how to prompt it right. I don't think it's that hard to do. You just gotta learn how to think through it. So, for example, if it's a book, like you literally say like. This is the book I want to learn from. Like, give me an overall summary review of certain topics that you want to learn from. The main points it's pulling from.
Right.
Instead of like sitting down reading a 200-page math book, like science book.
Yeah,
or something.
bro, that would be
so much time.
That'd be harder, obviously, but like, I still see the value of reading reading all of it. I still agree with that, but like, you should. I guess you would have like an outline of like, okay, these are the pointers I should be looking for when I'm reading the book, or maybe you read the book yourself first and then you ask ChatGPT like you reference off of that.
I think it depends on.
So I mean, there's nothing wrong with like not reading the book. I think you should still use like the physical copy, like get the information from like the thing, because like even if like ChatGPT does not give you like all the nitty-gritty details, you might find something that is like very, very minuscule that ChatGPT does not bring up. And you're like, oh wow, this really stands out to me. And this is something that like I really want to keep that in my memory, you know.
I can agree with using ChatGPT as like a supplementary thing, but it should never be the primary source of.
I think all of us are in agreement.
I agree with that. But you can still use to pull from that source, as opposed to the general web. I mean, because the general web has a lot of if there's certain prompts where it just pulls from the web and it's not accurate at all.
So you used AI as a tool, not don't form it make it a crutch for yourself.
I think so. Yeah.
One more thing I want to add real quick.
Go for it. Yeah.
Like we have to remember too, ChatGPT is not infallible, right? Like for example, the job searches. Yeah. I look up like, okay, tell me within the last week, and it's like, okay, I'll do this, and then I go to the job postings, and then it says like closed. I'm like.
No, I 200%.
I said give me recent, and then it's like not recent anymore.
I agree.
So there are times it can make mistakes. So.
It does make mistakes, so you can't rely on it 100%.
Yeah, that's why there are times where you're just like, you have to do the digging yourself.
You got to do the digging. No, I agree with you on that.
What are some things that you guys do in the morning to just start off your day right?
Oh boy,
some hacks. I need hacks.
The hacks. I'm not a morning person.
I'll go. I do like to meditate a little bit for 5-10 minutes every morning. So I don't do it every single day, but I try to do it every single day if I can. I always do stretching and mobility in the morning. Like I always do a mobility every morning. It's like a habit. If I don't do it in the morning, I'll do it before I work out. Like whether that I work out in the morning or the evening. I used to work out consistently in the mornings, but I think it varies. I like to read. If it's just like a chapter, even if it's just a chapter of like a book, I'll read in the morning too. So I like to do those things.
Nice.
I try to stick to those things. I know people do a lot of different things. Like,
do you eat breakfast in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, I eat food. Yes, in the morning.
Well, I don't know. Some people don't though. The thing is, like, some people.
I agree. Yeah, my fault.
So.
Yes, I eat food.
But I eat light in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm not a heavy morning person. I'll eat like a banana or yogurt or a granola bar or something like that. I'm not a morning person necessarily in terms of food stuff. In terms of food stuff, but I think that's what I do.
So let me ask you this then: like, if your breakfast was prepared for you, ready to go, like you open the fridge or like you you go to the kitchen and your breakfast is ready for you.
Yeah.
And it's like a hefty meal. Like let's say it's like a whole skillet of like 2 eggs and like like the works, would you eat it then?
I don't think so. I might only eat a portion of it because I feel like I'd get tired throughout the day. I feel like when I eat those sort of things, it's usually on weekends when we're going out for like breakfast, and then usually you kind of just feel full, and you're just kind of like, after eating that sort of food, you're more lethargic for sure compared to eating something. At least for me, I feel.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
So you still would consider like a lighter meal in the breakfast?
Yeah, definitely.
For me, I think that's like a little opposite. I think if I have like food ready to go, I'd be more inclined to do it. Like I hate prepping breakfast in the morning. Like I just hate it. Like I don't know. I think like the thought of like getting up and like making food for yourself in the morning just is like horrible to me.
Compared to dinner, like prepping for the dinner. It's more relaxing.
What I usually do for that instead like I just like prep breakfast and stuff, food for myself in the morning at night. So the night before, I would just like get stuff ready, oatmeal, put it in the fridge. Or something. Yeah, whatever. Eggs, like oatmeal, like and stuff like that. I would just have that ready to go for myself, like for the next morning.
Even eggs, like.
Yeah, so like I would just
scrambled?
I don't scramble eggs. I just boil eggs.
Okay.
And then I just peel them and then just put them in the fridge for the next day. So, and so then like I just have them ready to go so I can just pop them.
Yeah. I will say with morning routines, I do feel like people overdo it. It's like you must do every single day. I mean, it's important, but like
the whole Patrick Bateman morning
it's
routine.
There's a certain point where it's like, it's okay if you're not hitting it every single day necessarily, but if you do it later on in the day, like stretching mobility, right? Like that's cool. Everyone got their own methods. No one fits all for morning routines. I think it caters to the actual person.
I still think getting working, like walking or something, like some physical activity done in the morning when you're waking up is generally a good idea. I agree with that.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. What about you, Abdul? What do you think? Okay, Abdul, if you think you could have an optimal morning
routine, like what would you be doing then? I guess
Okay,
for yourself, not for anyone else, just yourself specifically.
For myself? Yeah. Okay, so this is how I visualize it, and I can't visualize it any other way. The thing is, I'm a night person. I'm not a morning person. Yeah. So I already know. Okay, we could say if this is on like a weekend, I guess, but I'll talk about it in the viewpoint of if it's a weekday when I have work. So, going to sleep late, probably as late as I possibly can get away with without wanting to like feel really tired in the morning. Okay. I'm gonna wake up like very soon before my alarm goes off, or like right when it goes off, which is gonna be right before I have to leave for work. I'm not gonna want to do any of this stuff you guys are talking about. I'm probably not gonna want to eat breakfast. Like the big thing that you said about like prepping breakfast, that's also true for me. If I do want to eat at all, which I don't, because I get like nauseous if I eat in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I don't like a lot of breakfast foods to begin with. So if I were to grab, I'd probably just get like Dunkin' or something on the way. Like I would not take the time to wake up extra early to cook. I could do like what you said, I guess, make it the night before. But again, I'm not a morning person. Like breakfast.
Would you take like a banana and yogurt or something like that?
No, but that's the thing too. Like those little things, like it's not enough for me personally.
You need more
I'd still be
food.
hungry. And then at that point, it's like, why am I like doing? I'll just wait till lunch when I can have like a big-ish meal,
Yeah.
So that's on a weekday. But then let's say on the weekend. I guess on the weekend, because I don't have to worry about work, obviously I can wake up later than usual. But at that point, I'm not waking up for it's almost lunchtime in my ideal world. Okay. And then I just eat lunch. And then, no, I do agree with that, though, in that situation. I feel like early morning, like, walks or early afternoon walks are definitely a good thing.
I think so, too.
Like, I want to live in an area where it's, like, reasonably, like, nice out, like, woods nearby or like a path or whatever, a nature trail. Get some breakfast or lunch at this point, like I said. Like maybe have some music and just like go for a walk. And I think that would like do a lot for like my mental health. I feel like that'd be really good.
It also balances out your cortisol levels, so your circadian rhythm starts up at a stronger point. So you'll feel more wakeful throughout the day and like throughout the night. And during your nighttime, your cortisol levels are gonna start increases and like. And I don't know if it's increases or decreases, I'm not sure, but you'll start feeling sleepy around nighttime. So it kind of balances out your wake and falling asleep schedule as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I did not know like you were that bad of a morning person.
No, trust me. Like when we go on trips, like I put up with it because
you're struggling. You're actually struggling.
I'm not gonna be the one who like ruins everything, even though I know I sometimes do. But like, that's really not at all my like regular morning routine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to talk to anyone in the morning. I don't want to interact. I just want to be by myself. I want to sleep in. Yeah. And then we eat breakfast at the table, and I'm just like, if you guys push me the wrong way, I'm gonna like snap. But
wait, have you tried like forcing yourself to like form a morning schedule, morning routine, or like trying to become a morning person? Have you ever tried doing that to yourself?
Are you not?
I mean, I used to be when I was younger.
For school, everyone has to be like it's like forced.
No, but even like on the weekends, I would wake up early, kind of, and like I kind of like that. But it's just like
over time,
the older I get, the more I realize I prefer nighttime. I'm just like I'm not a morning person. And that's
fair enough, Batman.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm just not. Like,
that's fair enough though.
Yeah. I find like nighttime more peaceful and like more. Don't get me wrong. There are some times where I kind of like miss being awake like from 9 to 12. Like the world is kind of a beautiful place in that early time too. But it's just like I don't know. I'd rather just be asleep at the time.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
That's how it is.
Okay. And then not for a morning thing. Is there anything that you do every day that makes life easier for you guys? Like, so that just like one thing that like you do throughout your day, or like right before you sleep or something that you're like, okay, today life got a little easier because of that, what I just did today.
Okay, this is like such a like cliche, like pretty dumb answer, but I will say that like I do need to like play video games, like at least a little bit every day.
So
like,
is that like just to de-stress and
stuff? Yeah,
it's
a stress relief. Like if I did not like, because especially like work days, I deal with a lot of like stuff that gets my blood boiling. And it really shouldn't, but I just like I'm kind of an irritable person at times, and I won't lie. Sometimes, like I'm sure you guys seen memes, especially you, Dor, where like you play games and you're not relaxed after. You just feel like kind of worse. But it's like it's kind of a toxic relationship if you really want to get into into it. But like. Yeah, I need like.
But it's a different type of stress that you would rather have compared to like, the life.
Because it's just like virtual. It's not like you don't take it with you really.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like days like this, like again, I'm kind of going into the specifics, but like last night, obviously we hung out really late, right? I got home at like whatever 5 o'clock. I didn't play video games. It was fine because we played together. But like when we go on like trips and stuff, like when we went to Michigan, like. I didn't have withdrawals. It's not that bad, trust me. But it's just like, I was just like missing it.
I didn't even realize that, dude.
Yeah. No, it's just like, I'm used to playing every single day, so like, it feels kind of weird, you know?
Yeah.
And again, I'm not like shaking. I'm not like, I need to play Call of Duty. It's not like that. It's just like, that's what I've gotten used to for the past so many years of my life, ever since I've been a gamer. That's how I like, have stress relief. So.
That's so interesting, because I feel the same way, but like, working out and stretching my mobility, like for me, like I need to every day. I need to, even if I don't work out necessarily, like if I, like for example, if I'm watching football, I might randomly just stand up and just do like calf raises or like wall sits on like the wall.
So something to get your body moving.
Yeah, I feel like I like doing stretching and mobility every single day because it helps like save your joints long term, and you're kind of that's like a good way to stay loose and flexible, which a lot of people have issues with as they get older.
Agreed.
But I also love to just do random stuff, like, you know, for example, I might just do like 10 push-ups during every other ad during watching TV or something, or like something random where I'm not doing a full-on workout, but I'm doing something to like supplement and do some movement every day. I feel like I need to do that. I can't just sit down and do something for like an hour or two. Like, that's not going to happen with me. I need some sort of movement going for me for sure. So I think for me that's that.
I kind of agree with that. I think I also have that issue. Like if I don't do some kind of activity besides walking, I guess my job requires me to be like on my feet the whole time. Yeah. But besides that, if I'm not doing something more strenuous that like pushes my body a little bit, like I feel like the day just was somewhat of a waste for me. You know, like if I don't do that, then I'm like, oh man, today was just a bust. It did not go through. Today I just felt very unaccomplished, and I didn't do like what I was trying to do. Like my goals for today were not accomplished. Like some kind of workout needs to be implemented at least once in a day. Maybe even if it's like for 10 minutes, like you're saying, like calf races, like something like that. I need to do something like that as well. Yeah. But
wait, little like side topic, because it's really interesting the way you phrase that. So I find it interesting how like, do you agree with him how you say like if you don't do certain things, like your day is wasted, kind of? Do you like kind of agree with that? Like, do you, in other words, can you like feel like a day is wasted? Is that like a possibility for you?
If I don't do stuff?
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting because I feel the opposite of that. I feel like every day I'm alive is like a gift from like God, you could say, right? And like, again, this kind of says a lot about our personalities, so like how we value like growth and like development. But in my opinion, I feel like every day I'm alive, like I would be so hard pressed to find a way where I would consider a day a waste. Like I can't think of anything that would possibly go on to where I'd be like, oh, this day was a waste. Like I didn't.
Can I rephrase it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think I mean more so like I'm not taking this, not even not taking a step, but maybe not maybe not. I don't know if it's taking a step, but toward my goals.
Yeah, so like
it doesn't have to be any even like career. It doesn't have to be specific, but just like any general goals.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, but I also do get your point. Like I agree where like this is something like people like us have where it's like it's a go mentality, but then the issue is like burnout, and there's a lot you can do from just being in your own thoughts, doing nothing, or like chilling on certain days.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot you can learn from that too.
Well, yeah, self-reflection is definitely like a huge thing. But I guess like what I'm trying to say, like I usually like in for me, my mornings, every morning, like when I get to work, I like write down a list of things I need to do, like a mini like daily goal list, you know. Like so I do that, and like
I do that
working out is like
I do that too.
Working out is like one of like the top priorities. Like I want to do that because like so I feel like I did something physical, not just like was like I wasn't just working with my head, and like I wasn't just like doing stuff that didn't require me to be like get my body moving in a sense.
That could be negative. I could do like for example, I can give an example of myself doing it in a negative way where like, and I still do this sometimes where it's like I might say like I might be like, okay, I wake up at 5:30, 6:30 to 7:45. I'm working out, and then like I have like, okay, I'm studying this, I'm practicing this, and then let's say I don't like. The timing's off, or I mess it up, or I'm not able to get to one thing.
Do you beat yourself over that?
Yeah, and then it kind of throws off the day, and then like shit, there's more stuff I need to get done.
Yeah.
And then
I guess that is like the only demerit.
So it's like now you're chasing after, you're like trying to get everything done, and then it just the quality's gone at a certain point.
You start feeling like the day is falling apart.
Yeah, and then you get to the point where like, damn, I think I just wasted like.
Yeah. I think I have that issue as well.
That's again,
which
this says a lot about a personality. Because I don't like. Maybe I'm just not a goal-driven person. I don't know, but like I don't feel like I have that many things where it's like I need to get this, and that. I feel like as long as it gets.
I mean, I'm not making like lofty. I'm not saying lofty goals like that. Today you need to be like you need to get like $1,000 or something, or like you need to be like getting 70 push-ups in or something. I don't know, like something like that. Something weird. This is like an example, obviously, but I'm not setting up like really lofty goals. Just like basic things like. You should consider calling your doctor about this appointment that you need to get, you know, like or like
okay, that
like write in your journal or something, or like make sure you will go to the gym today, like talk to your dad about this issue that you kept on forgetting about, some things like that, you know, like if you but like if I don't do that, then like it feels like, oh man, I think that is also a bad thing that I do, that like if I don't do that, then I'm like, oh man, I'm just messing up the day, like I'm wasting my time right now. And I think I kind of attribute that to like using my phone quite a bit. Like if I'm on my phone, if I'm just on Instagram, just like scrolling, you know, like doom scrolling. I think it just sucks. And at one point I wasn't using Instagram, but like now that I'm back on it, it's bad, man. It's really really time consuming, unfortunately. And then that's really like taking a lot of my time.
I will say one thing too. I guess it like puts even more emphasis on when I do have goals, because like. It's so rare for that to happen. They're like the main goal like nowadays in my life the past like couple of years is just like keep applying for jobs, try to get a better job, you know. And so there are times, a couple of days go by where I'm just like chilling. I go to work, come home, like watch whatever, play whatever, chill. And then a couple of days go by, I'm like, okay, I need to start applying for jobs again. And then I like set a thing in my mind. I'm like, okay, tonight like you're not gonna play too much. Like you need to like dedicate 2 hours, just sit down at a table with your computer, just apply. And then like I'd say that's like a 50-50 success rate. Sometimes I like follow through. I'm like, okay, I did it, and then afterwards I feel so good. I'm like, I actually dedicated the time. I like stayed focused.
Yeah, you get the dopamine.
Yeah, and then the other 50% I don't do it, and then like it's like 1 o'clock, and I'm like,
how do you feel when you do that?
I feel really bad. I'm
I'm
like, oh, I said I was gonna do it, but I got lazy, and then it's just like. So I guess I do experience that, like what you guys do too.
So like what you're doing is like you're not goal setting, but you're like you do have like mental goals that you have, and if you don't do that, then you're like, oh man, you are somewhat beating yourself up that.
Because again, I'm a very like lax person in general, so it's like when I do set goals, like I'm setting them for a reason, like they're important. Like I'm not saying like you guys don't set your goals for like important reasons, but it's just like. For me, like, for something to be a priority, it's, like, only when it's, like, really necessary. Like, when it's, like...
It needs to be done.
It's, like, really big, yeah. Like, has to be done now. Like...
Gotcha.
So that's why when those things are set and then I don't do them, I'm just like, what is wrong with me? Like, do better, man. So...
Yeah. So how do you, like, get out of that loop? Like, how do you guys, like, get over that negativity then? If you were, like, let's say you did not meet your expectations, the expectations that you set for yourself that day, like, what, and you feel bad about it, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you do to feel better? Do you be like...
I do like an audit. Like, I'll look at the day and be like, okay, like, am I doing too much on my plate? Okay, I'm going to take, these two things off moving forward for, like, another day, because clearly there's more quantity than quality.
Yeah.
I might even, give some breaks during, specific activities so I can just kind of reset, get back into the flow of things for sure. I think the other thing, too, I like to do is, with certain things, like, I might quantify it. Like, so you said the jobs, right? I might say I have to do, like, 25 today.
Yeah.
And then I get to, like, 15, I'm like, oh, this has been a failure of a day. Right? And then I'm like, okay, let's reset. Maybe let's try to hit 10 a day instead of 25, because clearly 25 is a bit too much.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good idea.
I think I try to decrease, like, if I'm trying to quantify it.
Yeah, I think quantifying is a big, like, it helps a lot. Because for people, especially with goals, if you just have this, like, vague thing in your mind, like, oh, I want to improve in this way. It's not going to help. Like, X, Y, Z, you need to have a set thing so you can achieve it.
So you should definitely reflect on, like, if something messed up.
Yeah, so it's easy to tell if you, like, succeeded or you failed.
And you shouldn't beat yourself up over
Yeah, like you said, it's okay to lower it. But if you don't have a standard in the first place, how are you going to know if you succeeded or failed?
That's fair,
You have to set that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's why, like, whatever your goal is, there should be some way to quantify it.
Yeah.
Like, some tangible, measurable way. So
you shouldn't beat yourself up unnecessarily for, like, not meeting that goal the first time or first couple of times. Like, it might take a couple, like, 4,
especially
5,
the harder
6,
the thing you're trying to do, it's not going to get done the first time.
You might even try to chunk it.
Like, maybe, like, break that down to, like, smaller goals.
Yeah,
and then when you achieve that one, and then go to, like, keep going.
Yeah, I think so, too, 100%.
Yeah, definitely self-reflection is definitely important when you have those days where you're like, oh, man, really blew that day.
Well, that wasn't how things were supposed to go. What are we doing?
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah. Like, I guess I'm glad that, like, each of us have their own way of, like, doing self-reflecting and, like, at least goal setting.
Yep.
So
definitely.
That's good. Just a few more topics. Do you guys want to keep continuing, or should we just call it?
I'm kind of.
How are you guys feeling?
We can do a couple more.
Yeah, I'm kind of good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We can keep flowing.
Okay, so this is like about traveling and stuff.
Ooh, okay.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
So when you're planning on, like, travel plans and stuff, what kind of hacks do you use when you're traveling? Like, what are your go-to things that you need to do? Like you're like, oh, if I do this, like, my whole trip is gonna be relatively easier.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I feel like having a basic idea what you're gonna do.
Like an itinerary of sorts.
But it shouldn't be like, but it shouldn't be so, like,
you don't
specific.
Want a concrete one. You like want a loose.
Yeah, I feel like there's people who, like, try to, like, set it up so perfectly, and then you go there, it's like you can't flow and enjoy things that are unexpected.
No, I agree with that 100%, because I feel like the beauty of a trip is embracing the unexpected, like you
unknown,
say.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
You're going to this, like, typically a foreign place you've never been to before, right? You're going to experience a bunch of new things. Like, it's okay, like, especially if you're trying to do activities that are very, like a lot of people do them. You have to, like, book appointments or reservations, whatever.
Yeah, logistics.
That's fine, sure. But, like, don't, like, have a concrete thing, because then this goes along with what we were talking about earlier. If you don't do that one thing, it messes up your whole schedule, and then it's just like the trip is ruined. Like, because we didn't do this one thing on day 1 of day 7.
It's not going to affect
7-day trip. Like, don't let it affect you that much. You should definitely. I'm of the belief that, like, itinerary should not be, like, super light, but not super heavy. Be somewhere in the middle. Have a rough idea.
I think having a goal for the trip, like, if I'm going to.
Yeah, you really want to just do this thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, if I'm going to Colombia, like, what's the goal? To see, like, the nature and, like, stuff like that. So, like,
Colombia, Ohio, or like
Colombia, the country, like Colombia, or like if I'm going to Japan, like, what are the main areas I want to visit? Okay, exactly. I have an idea what I want to see.
Even if it's not like a thing you want to do, it's at least like a place, specific city or town, whatever you want to check out.
Fair.
I think you can do your due diligence so easily now with technology. Like, you can find the most randomest spots in Tokyo, Japan that some travelers been to, and you can find that information.
Yeah,
right.
So, but then also, again, going back to, like,
exploring
and having some space for, like, room for error, because when you travel, especially abroad, like, it's so easy for just the littlest thing to go wrong, like your luggage gets left behind, or, like, you lose something, and then, like, if you don't give yourself that room for, like, something bad to happen, then, like, again, your trip is gonna be ruined.
Yeah, I think I also, like, when I'm traveling, I definitely have I go with an expectation that something is not like gonna go wrong.
Yeah, that's
regardless of how much I plan something out, like how much I try to like perfect it. Something is gonna go wrong. Like that's Murphy's law for sure is always gonna go into effect.
Yeah, what can go wrong will go
so
wrong.
Like, and then it's fine. And if you learn to accept that, then you are like you're more flexible with it.
Less affected by it.
And like I don't know how I don't know what you guys think of like when we were planning our trips whenever we're going some places. Yeah. Like, do you guys think like we are very concrete about like how we are planning stuff out? Like, because I know like I do become like when I'm planning out stuff for our trips. I do end up becoming sort of like a stickler. Like we gotta do this.
Sometimes,
I feel like we have a good middle ground. Like we've learned to
initially, we've learned to balance it out over time. I feel,
but I think like even if something doesn't happen, like we still try to like roll with it.
Yeah, which is I think we do what we do well, especially as a recent trips. Mm-hmm. I would say one essential. I think depending on where you go in the world is. Like your own safety, you can't go to certain places and not know like what's going on. Or
definitely.
Safety, Eric's saying disassemble a gun.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you go to somewhere like if you're going to for example, if you go to UK and they got hella pickpockets, like you gotta be aware of that.
Oh like you gotta prepare for
bit of research.
You should do your research before you go.
Do some research
like
on
what kind of crimes are trending over there. Like
certain places you should not be at. That late in general. I mean, as a general rule of thumb, you shouldn't be in certain majority of places
at
late night. There's a lot of
not by yourself.
Not a lot of good things are going to happen out of that. You know, so
fair.
Being smart, transit, logistics, those are things you should think about. At least have an idea of what can you do if things go wrong. That's my point of view.
Yeah, so definitely do your research before going somewhere, so you have a general idea of like, this is gonna be a possibility. Yeah. Something like this could go wrong with me.
And this is a kind of a specific thing I would say. If you're going to somewhere across the world that's like doesn't speak your native language, like learn a little bit of the language.
I agree.
It endears you a lot to the natives there. It makes you stand out from other like tourists. Like it doesn't have to be a lot, but just like do a little bit of research. To like just basic phrases.
That's fair. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Good
you.
morning.
Please. Like, where is
that.
this? Where's the store? Like, how do I get here? Like. Just know how to be able to say that stuff. The little stuff like that, it goes a long way, I feel.
Donde el baño? Like, where's the bathroom? Like, I need to go. That's vital to know if you really need to go. Like,
you can't expect. And again, I'm saying this as like us speaking English natively. Like, the world, English is a big language, sure, but like, not a lot of people. There's gonna be a good amount of people still in the world who don't speak English.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea.
Everyone to cater you if you speak English.
So you say like learn a bit of the language.
Yeah.
And you are saying one of the things you could do is like learn what the do's and not to do don'ts.
To a certain degree.
About like the place when you're visiting it. That's good. Definitely good advice. Yeah. Nice. I I don't know what else to ask about that.
You can go
do you guys have any
topics,
other? Yeah.
If you got any other ones to.
Sounds good. Alright, this is a very dumb question, but what is some stuff that you see on the internet that you think is completely stupid? You're like, why is this even a thing? Like some memes or like some like trends. Like
I'll be first thing that came to mind.
I can't think of specifics, but when I see them.
Okay, well I was gonna say first thing that came to mind for me are like mukbangs. I just don't see the appeal.
You don't see the appeal?
I don't find it interesting to watch people eat, first of all. I don't like people watching me eat.
What do you mean? You don't like seeing Nikocado avocado?
No, I don't want to see that. Like, even like famous people.
I think you know what? Sometimes I think it's kind of fascinating because I'm like, how did that lady eat that much food?
No, but it's just like so gross. Personally, I don't want to see that.
No, I agree though. Like, some people just need to fix their eating habits. They just open thing in the mouth and they're chewing. There's just too much going on. It's like, bro, this is like not.
I would never. I can't find myself ever possibly watching someone and being like, I'm so glad I'm watching them eat. That would never cross my mind. Yeah.
I've always been.
How much I like the person.
If I've ever clicked on it, I'm like, damn, can't believe like this small person ate this much food. That's the only reason. But in general, I also agree it's kind of nasty though.
There's like a difference between like reviewing an item that just came out, like
that's
flashback
different.
to when we did our Starbucks review. That's like one thing we're all trying it, but like mukbangs, it's like a bunch of food all compiled, and it's just they don't even talk about it usually, right? They just eat the food and that's it.
I honestly have never seen a mukbang, so I have no idea what
I have no idea.
I've seen on like YouTube. I've seen on shorts before here and there.
They're not like reviewing the food. They're not saying, "Oh, this is good."
They just
like,
start eating.
and then they finish and they're like, "Okay, like what is the appeal of that?" But
I have
it has
one
a big
real
audience.
quick. I have so you know the recent. I don't know if you guys know this recent meme. It's called like the 6'7" meme.
The 6'7"
I have literally no idea what that thing is. Like
6'7".
Yeah, like what is this?
They do it. I don't know what it means.
It makes literally no sense.
It's just
like what is this? Like
brain rot,
we probably have brain rot stuff too.
Oh, we do. Every generation has brain rot.
What was our like the Sonic the Hedgehog? No, the Ugandan Knuckles.
Ugandan Knuckles. We had like
do you know the
stuff?
Harlem Shake?
Yeah,
like,
Harlem
randomly,
Shake. Oh, yeah.
Like, that
We
was
had
kind of like,
a bunch
if you were an
of
adult and
stuff.
you saw kids just doing the Harlem Shake song, you'd be like, whoa.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, what do you think about it now? I'm like, yeah.
But no, I literally said one time I was
yeah.
with my sister and I was just saying I think I said 6'7" and like 67 or something.
Yeah.
And I was talking about some like an actual like something to her, and she started just cracking up. I was like, "What is happening to you right now?" She's like, "You did this 6'7". I'm like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Just it." She doesn't even know how to explain it to me, and she just starts laughing about
because
it.
it doesn't mean anything.
It means
it's
nothing.
Just 6'7".
Yeah.
I don't know.
Brain rot.
So yeah, that's one thing that recently I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Do you have
I don't
anything?
know. I can't think of a specific one. I'm trying to think of a specific one, but I can't. But there's certain ones where it's like, all right, there's certain ones out there, trends where it's like, all right, this is borderline disrespectful. You're messing with people's like daily lives. Like, I don't know specifics, but there's certain ones where it's like, all right, this is kind of cross the line, or it's like certain people is like,
so some pranks or something.
Or there's certain ones where like people talk crazy. It's like if there were no cameras, you couldn't get in trouble for it. Like, like someone would pop you back in the face, so you would not do that in real life.
Right.
So I think some of those are kind of crazy.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's like just because there's a camera, it's like, oh, now I'm this guy now. You can't do anything to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, buddy. Like it's a false persona, bro.
Right.
You know,
That's true.
or like ones where they mess with people's daily lives in like a messed up way. Like there's funny, yeah.
I've seen people like
but like
I
there's
think I've
messed
seen,
up ways like, where they do it.
Like just giving like a homeless person like a bunch of money and then just taking it from them after that or something like that. It's kind of crazy, bro. Like you give them so much hope and then you're like after that. Like,
that's what I mean.
Well,
it's
ridiculous. That's a good question. Okay, so I want your guys' opinion about this because I've seen a lot of like discourse about this online. So what are your thoughts on like when you give like food or money to like people, like homeless people, right? Like, what are your thoughts on, like, recording it? Because some people, there's two sides of the spectrum. People are like, you shouldn't have to, like, record your good deeds online. Like, you should just do it. And then there are other people who are like, oh, if people don't upload this, then, like, they don't feel inspired to, like, also do good. So, like, what are your thoughts on that? And then there are some people who are like, you can do it, but, like, just don't show the actual, like, homeless person. Like, don't put their face on the internet or, like, blur it out, kind of. Like, but then that feels like kind of, like, dishonest when you do that because you're, like, hiding the truth.
But there's so many different ways you can, like, for example... Like,
yeah, it's like a question.
Like, because it's like
I don't
some
really
people,
cause
I don't know, because like some people do it just to do it, like to show
clout,
off.
Yeah,
that's
it just depends on the.
Some people do it where it's like they never ask the person, "Hey, are you cool with me posting this?"
Yeah,
which is messed up. But then sometimes they do it to like bring support to that person, like, and they can do a GoFundMe.
Yeah, that happens.
So I think it depends on like what the other person expects, and
I guess it also depends on like how you portray the information in the video or like the clip.
I agree.
Like if you actually be like, yo, I'd help this guy, you guys should also do that. Like you tell your followers or like your people who are like watching your stuff, like please help this guy out. He needs help. What are you looking at?
I was looking at I can't see, where's the...
What is Eric?
What are you looking
guys,
at? I was trying
Eric
to see the other topic.
I think that was the last topic.
Oh, you can keep going. You can keep talking. I'm just gonna look at it.
Bro, what the heck? What is happening? Huh?
That's why I was like, why can't
It's chalked, guys. It's chalked.
That's the other one.
What the heck? I don't know. I think that was the last one to begin with. So
I thought there was more.
I like your answer though. Like, yeah, it really depends on your intention and like how you portray the information. Like, you can't be a person who like records this and then like not expect other people to like want to help out too.
Yeah,
you shouldn't like preach what
but
you're not.
I think I do lean more towards the side like, why are you posting this online? Like, why are you trying to get the clout? I think my initial response to that would be like, why did you need to why did you have the need for it? Like,
some people say that genuinely,
that,
like, what?
And maybe like if they do explain their rationale behind it, maybe like, okay, then I would be like, okay, if you explain your rationale behind it, like, and if you're actually like explaining, okay, this is the process you can go by, like helping this person or like, this organization.
And plus, I mean, there are some YouTubers who are like, their whole thing is like they go out and help homeless people, or like Mr. Beast, not homeless, but like he does this like extravagant things where he gives money away. So like there are other smaller YouTubers who like their whole shtick is helping homeless people. So then you kind of expect like that's what they're doing, but then you have to think like, are they doing it? Are they doing this with their heart, or because that's what they're trying to build their brand on?
Right. Exactly.
What do you think of the opposite end of the spectrum, where like let's say there's like someone or a creator or whatever it's called doing something good, and then you have people who are crazy hating for no reason, or like they're trying to pull apart their lives, or like there's that whole aspect of it too, where like the audience is like, or people are jealous, or people, you know, that sort of stuff, where it's like some people take it as inspiration, some people take it as like, oh, I should just hate on this person, like screw this, maybe I'm not.
There's always
going to
be trolls, bro. I think there's always going to be trolls.
You can't like, especially the bigger you get, the bigger audience you have, it's always going to get, you're going to get more haters because you're going to get more people to watch your videos in general. Yeah. So
it's just a byproduct of it, but it was interesting. Like it's like the opposite end of this spectrum.
Right. Yeah.
Is that it then?
Anything else to add, guys, before we end?
Relationships. No,
we could probably talk about this
that could be its
other
own
time.
Honestly, itself a whole hour.
I didn't bring it up because we want to talk about like
long.
some relationship stuff as well, but like that could be like
that
a
might
whole
be a
thing.
whole other hour.
And I want to think about like some like extra topics regarding that before, because it's a very generalized topic, you know. We can definitely get more into it. So yeah,
I think we can kill it then.
I do have one final question, and it's for you two.
Okay.
Who can lift more?
He can.
I can.
He can. Yeah.
Okay,
there's no question.
But I think he can do better on body weight stuff, like pull-ups and stuff for sure.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Who's stronger?
That's such a relative term.
It's a very relative term.
Break it down.
Because you can have relative body weight, like, so for example, he can do more pull-ups, for example, but I might have more absolute strength where it's like I can lift like what, 295, 315, and he might not be able to lift that for like a deadlift or something.
Right.
So there's different kinds of strength. Like he might be able to do more pull-ups than me because, you know, he has that strength because he has a smaller body weight too, so his relative strength is better. But I think it just depends.
Final question. Who would win in a fight?
Oh my god, that doesn't relate.
He knows how to fight. Boy, he did like martial arts when he was since he was a kid. So
I think
he'd definitely win. I'd be cheating, but then I win.
So I think it depends on how you like draw it up. Like he might try to attack me. He might just take some dust and throw it in my face. So
pocket set.
Like you just might pull out. You know, that's such a.
Yeah, if we're following
the rules,
the whole fighting and strength, that's a whole nother hour's worth of topic of conversation we can get into, so I don't know if we should get into that.
Yeah, definitely. We could talk about that if you really want us to talk about it, but like not today.
It might be a long, drawn-out talk, for sure. I think we can kill it.
That's everything then, guys.
Alright, guys, so yeah, that was it.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah. Like, subscribe. Until next time.
Peace.